Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving headfirst into the gritty, intense, and honestly, deeply personal battlegrounds of modern India. We're going to explore three vastly different narratives that, on the surface, might look like they have absolutely nothing to do with each other. But as we pull back the layers together, you're going to see this incredible, fascinating thread of duty, rebellion, and survival connecting them all.
So let's start off with a bit of a mystery, all right? Ask yourself, what could possibly link a ruthless village mafia boss fighting for territorial control, a highly stressed student grinding away for the civil service exams in Delhi, and a young guy getting yelled at by his dad for playing mobile games? It kind of sounds like the setup to a weird joke, right? But the actual answer lies in an ancient concept that's playing out right now in modern times. And that connection? It's Karmayuddh. Basically, it translates to the battlefield of action and duty. As a mentor in one of our stories brilliantly puts it, eons ago on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, there was this massive battle of belief where Arjuna literally had to fight his own family. Today, that exact same struggle is happening everywhere. It's the fight against the system, the fight against the expectations of the people closest to you, and really, the fight to just survive on your own terms.
All right, here is our roadmap for today. We've got four main stops. First, the political arena. Then, the academic arena. Third is the digital arena. And finally, fighting the system. Let's get right into it.
Okay, Section 1, the political arena, power and survival in India.
Now, looking at this breakdown, you can see the seriously complex village hierarchy we're dealing with here. You've got the Devans, led by the powerful Bada Devan, who essentially run the town and buy off politicians. Then you have their rivals, the Mota Jat faction, led by Vikram Singh, and they are ruthlessly oppressing local farmers just to steal their land. And stepping right into the middle of this mess is the law, a brand new DSP named Murli Manji. His explicit mission, a brutal, top-to-bottom, deep cleaning of village crime using encounters and airtight court cases.
But then, things completely escalate. The inciting incident here is absolutely shocking. Rival factions actually burn the crops of innocent farmers to force them off their land, and a child is kidnapped. We're talking about innocent people getting caught directly in the crossfire, and with the police DSP threatening to lock literally everyone up. What does a mafia leader do when the system tries to squeeze him out? Well, Bada Devan realizes that just backing politicians isn't enough anymore. To survive, he has to become the system. He decides to step out of the shadows and run for the MLA elections himself. He's fundamentally shifting his Karmayuddh from the violent streets straight to the ballot box.
Moving on to Section 2, the academic arena, the UPSC grind in old Rajendra Nagar.
Just take a second and listen to this statement from a father named Sharan, sir. He says, "Every generation had an IAS, and I do not want to be the last one." Man, imagine the crushing weight of that expectation. For his son, Ashish, his personal Karmayuddh isn't fighting off a village mob, it's fighting the terrifying everyday prospect of disappointing a father who just refuses to see his son's unique struggles. It's a really profound generational clash over what actually defines success.
You know, when you're facing a monumental mountain of an exam like the UPSC, the perspective you choose completely dictates your reality. Mindset 1 looks at that massive 99% failure rate and just sees an impossible lost battle. And honestly, that leads straight to burnout and quitting. But Mindset 2, that mindset looks at the tiny 1% success rate and finds the burning self-motivation required to actually win the war. It's all about finding that internal drive when the odds are stacked overwhelmingly against you.
But let's get real for a second about who usually has that 1% mindset. SK Sir points out a brutal reality here. Half of the aspirants in these study hubs are the children of farmers and auto drivers. For them, quitting, it's simply not an option for survival. This exam is literally their only ticket out of systemic poverty. They possess this intense do-or-die fighting spirit because, well, they have to. Students like Ashish, who come from a bit more privilege, often lack that killer instinct simply because they have a safety net to fall back on. This battlefield absolutely requires hunger. All right, shifting gears to Section 3, the digital arena, generational clash, and esports.
You can just hear the sheer frustration of a father yelling at his son Sachin right here. He says money, sweat, all wasted. At least you could have learned mobile repairing to get a job. The dad looks at his son playing mobile games and just sees a total failure. It perfectly captures this huge generational disconnect, right? The older generation values traditional, visible labor, while viewing digital gaming as pretty much a complete waste of oxygen.
But here's where Sachin totally flips the script. When his younger brother gets bullied and has his cricket bat broken by a local thug, Sachin doesn't go out and fight him with his fists. No way. He challenges the bully to a one-on-one match in a mobile survival game. And utilizing his natural, raw gaming talent, Sachin absolutely destroys the bully on the digital battlefield. He reclaims his brother's honor and proves his worth in the one arena he truly deeply understands.
And guys, the stakes on this digital battlefield, they are surprisingly massive. Sachin's performance actually gets witnessed by a professional esports gamer. This pro realizes Sachin isn't just wasting time. The kid has elite-level skills. So, Sachin gets invited to the Headshot 2026 tournament. Suddenly, this highly criticized waste of time transforms into a legitimate, incredibly lucrative career path. I mean, the pro reveals that with the kind of money in esports, you could buy a house anywhere in India. Talk about the ultimate vindication for an underdog, right?
Which brings us to Section 4, Fighting the System, the Universal Underdog.
So what actually ties these three completely different worlds together? Well, every underdog, regardless of their arena, goes through this exact same three-step journey. Step 1, they face intense oppression by some higher power, whether that's a rival gang, an overbearing father, or just a mocking society. Step 2, they realize their Karmayuddh, their absolute duty to stand their ground. And Step 3, they find incredibly unconventional paths to victory. For Bhattadasan, it's hacking the political system. For Ashish, it's relentless resilience. And for Sachin, it's dominating the world of esports.
Because the truth is, the system is always going to try to crush the underdog. The heavy weight of expectations, of power, of tradition, it will always push down on the marginalized. But the battlefield is everywhere. Whether you're navigating the muddy, violent fields of India, finding a little bit of solace at the tea stalls of Delhi among all those UPSC aspirants, or just staring intently at a glowing mobile screen, the core human struggle for identity, survival, and agency remains exactly the same.
We've explored these intense, modern battlegrounds today, and the incredible people fighting for their lives within them. So I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. You've seen their battles, so what is your Kurukshetra? What system are you currently fighting against, and what unconventional path are you going to take to win? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.